All right, so just going to quickly take you through a series of stretches that you can do from home that'll be quite simple, that'll be really great for people who are stiff through their chest, their shoulders, their hips as well, which tends to be a lot of us because we do spend a lot of time sitting in today's world with work and whatnot. We also tend to spend a lot of time on our phones and sort of in this hunched forward position. So the main areas we're going to be working on are our thoracic spine, our pecs, lats, and sort of opening up through the front to be able to get our shoulder blades back and down and to get a bit more extension through our thoracic spine, or the upper part of our spine that tends to get a little bit hunched over and kyphotic. With our hips, we're going to be mainly, we're going to do sort of all sorts, but we're going to focus on getting our glutes a bit more activated and stretching out through the front, our hip flexors, TFL, etc. So, with the exercise, with all the stretches, you want to sort of take on you want to be stretching for a minimum of 60 seconds, depending on how tight you are. So, you may go all the way up to 2 or 3 minutes, depending on how it feels for you. So if you're really stiff, longer is going to probably be better. But 60 seconds minimum. And when you are stretching, you want to do some really deep breathing. So with each breath and with each breath out, you should feel that you can push a little bit further into a stretch. You don't want to be pushing into bad pain, so always remember good pain or bad pain. We don't want any sharp stabbing, shooting, pinching or that sort of pain. We want more of a, if you feel it in the muscle, and it can be a bit of a deep burn potentially, that you'll feel the difference of whether it's a good stretching pain or whether it's a bad pain. So we don't want to push into any bad pain. But that's sort of the tips from this. So deep breathing and breathe into the muscle, breathe into pushing a little bit further into the muscle. I'll show you the stretches now. Okay, so the first stretch we're going to do is going to be thoracic extension. You'll do this one on a foam roller. If you don't have a foam roller at home, foam roller is ideal because it's just a very good pivot point to be able to get extension through our back on the foam roller. If you don't have a foam roller, a great idea would be to get one because they're very good for a few different things in terms of mobility work, recovery work, etc. However, if you don't, what you could potentially do is perhaps get a really big towel, fold it up, roll it up, and make it into as big a sort of chunky thing to be able to lie on, and ultimately find something to mimic this. You want to make sure that it's hard enough and it's high enough off the ground to be able to create a pivot point to extend your spine from. So how this is going to work is basically we'll go like mid back, or sort of like mid upper back, low upper back, if that makes sense. So we're not going below halfway down, we're sort of halfway and up. So we'll start there, then we'll probably go here, and then we'll go a bit higher as well. We can even go a bit higher again. We're going to sort of work through that area, and how we're going to do it, link our fingers together, pull our elbows in, relax back, and then it's just going to be really deep breathing. So breathe in and relax back. Breathe in and relax back. We're going to do that across those different points. If one point feels like there's a lot more room to open up than other points, spend a bit more time on that point. We want to create more extension through our thoracic spine. So the next one is going to be a Peck and a Peck minor stretch. We're going to be stretching all through these fibers through here. Basically, we're going to go at a neutral position, and then we can go to a 45-degree angle as well. How are we going to do this? Go up against the wall, pull our shoulder blade back and down, and then we're keeping that shoulder blade back and down. We're just going to slowly turn away or rotate away from that arm. Again, deep breathing. Breathe into it. Should start to feel a really good stretch through the front of our chest. Then we can take our arm from that 90-degree position up to a 45-degree angle. Same thing, shoulder blade back and down, and then we're just going to slowly turn away and sort of open up through that chest and shoulder. And then again, deep breathing, spend at least 60 seconds there and let it open up further and further. Ultimately, we're trying to open up that space through the front here. So next one is a lat stretch. I'm going to show you a couple of different variations from this. Same principles apply, 60 seconds, deep breathing, and ultimately finding the areas that feel the most restricted and really, really stretching into those. So great way to do this is if you've got a beam at home, or if you've got a band and something like this at the gym or something like that is very beneficial. But if you've got a beam at home, you can put one of these bands around, you can use a towel, you can honestly use your imagination and find a way to be able to do this. Benefit here is we can put our hand through, we can sort of just relax our fingers over the top, and then basically we're going to drop into a stretch. So we're going to drop here, hang out here, deep breaths. We can drop to the side a bit. We can drop to the other side a bit. To get our lat, we're going to push out a little bit. So we're going to drop out across our body and bring our hand more into the center of our body. And again, just hang out there, breathe there. And ultimately what we're doing is we're trying to create more flexion over our head and stretch out our lats. So deep breathing, 60 seconds. Okay, so a different variation or another variation of a lat stretch. This is actually a really great stretch. However, if you are very, very stiff through your shoulders, give this one a go. But if it does cause pain, potentially you're just not ready for this one quite yet. However, if it does feel good, get into it. You can do this on the edge of a couch at home, potentially the edge of a bed, but basically you're going to bring your elbows together, or like in that sort of position. If you have a rod, you can hold onto a rod like a broomstick handle and bring your hands apart. This will allow even more of a stretch of your lats. However, we don't have one right here right now, so we're just going to go into this position. I'm going to drop our chest and shoulders through and just hang out here. Really deep breaths. If you have a partner with you, you can potentially get a partner to gently push into your upper back and sort of drop your chest further and further towards the ground while you really do deep breathing. However, be careful with this. You don't want to push yourself to a point where your body ultimately goes further than what it's capable of in terms of being able to maintain stability, etc. in that position. So just ensure that you listen to your body with this one. And with all these stretches, don't push yourself too far. Ease into it. Less is more initially, and as you respond positively, you can begin to push a little bit further and further into different stretches. So lastly, we're going to do a little bit of activation. The main area we want to activate is going to be all the muscles through our shoulder blades, our upper and mid back, to ultimately, we've created more range of motion through here, but now what we want to do is activate all those muscles neurologically, but also through that new range of motion, get those muscles working, get them stronger in that new range of motion, so that then we can think of this as a bit of a reset, and we're able to maintain a better position through our shoulders, through our thoracic spine, more consistently. So we don't want to just stretch and then go back to how we have been doing things. We want to stretch and then, activate, integrate, and then start to be aware of our posture day to day as well, so that we can actually continue this and integrate it into just our day-to-day experience. So how are we going to do this? We're going to start with some prone reaches. So from here, you want to keep your sternum in contact, the mid-chest bone in contact with the ground. From here, you're going to just pick your chest up a little bit, but keep your sternum in contact. Then from there, squeeze your shoulder blades back and down, lift your hands off as far as you can. And from there, we're going to go reach forward and up as far as we can. Back, reach forward up as far as we can. Back, really squeezing back and down the whole time, apart from when we're reaching that arm, but going back to that tight position there. Reach, tight. So we're going to do around 20 of those. And then also we're just going to come into this position in like a hands up position. So 90 degrees at our shoulders, 90 degrees at our elbows. Pull our shoulder blades back and down. Lift our hands up and just hold and squeeze. So we've got a 30-second hold here. We don't want to lift our head up too much. We just want to keep a neutral head position, chin to chest or chin tucked. Squeeze back and down and really, really hold them shoulders in a really great position. And we can go a couple of 20 to 30 second holds there. That should really start to activate those muscles that we've activate the muscles that are going to hold us. That was quite hard. Hold us in a better position now that we've opened up a bit more range of motion. So that should really help with your shoulders. Okay, so now we're going to get into our hips. The main issue with our hips is going to be a lack of hip extension. So we're going to want to basically stretch out through the front of our hip flexors, rectus femoris that goes over our hip and our knee. and basically lengthen those and strengthen or activate the glutes behind to create a bit more hip extension. That's going to solve a lot of our issues when it comes to back pain, hip pain, etc. So, first thing we're going to start with is just a typical hip flexor stretch. How are we going to do that? You're probably going to want a cushion or a folded up towel under your knee to give you a bit of cushioning. From there, just one foot in front of the other. Obviously, you're going to do both sides. We want to tuck our pelvis under, squeeze that glute, and that may be enough. I'm already feeling a good stretch through the front of my hip, etc. there, and really squeezing that glute. So another benefit to this is we're actually actively getting that glute on and creating a bit more hip extension. So lower back should be flat, pelvis tilted under, glute on, and we should feel a good stretch through the front of our hip. So again, 60 seconds, deep breathing, do both sides. The next layer to that, to get our rec fem a little bit more, is we can bring the towel, we can go up against the wall, bring the towel a little bit closer to the wall, put one knee on the wall and the other foot against the wall, and be reserved with this. Don't go too hard too soon. But basically from here, it's going to be the same thing. Tuck the pelvis under, squeeze the glute through, and I'm feeling a really good stretch down the whole front of my thigh now, down to even close to my knee. So, that is going to be another good one. Again, deep breathing, do both sides. Great stretch we can do to really get our glutes. You get a bit more hip flexion, external rotation. Is going to be bringing one foot up into this position. We can start by just pushing the knee away, holding that position. If that's easy, we can go through, grab the leg, and really pull this one into hip flexion. A lot of external rotation. You should feel that in that glute. Really good. So again, deep breathing. Doing both sides. I'm quite tight in this side compared to my other side, although it has improved a lot. But this is one that I really need to work on as well. So cool. So 60 seconds, deep breathing, hang out in that position. Here's a little bit harder variation to really get the glutes again. So again, going flexion and external rotation. What we can do is bring one foot, it could be onto the edge of a box in the gym, it could be on the edge of a couch, it could be on the edge of a bench. Find something that works for you, and basically we're just going to hang out in this position. Ultimately, we're wanting to bring our body across, towards this foot. I'm very tight on this side. This other side's going to feel a lot better for me. Yeah, that's a lot easier. So obviously we're doing these different stretches on each side, we can start to find imbalances and trying to even out those imbalances. That's going to be the harder variation to really get into those glutes and even your adductors a little bit as well. Okay, so now for some activation work. Basically we're focusing on getting hip extension and really engaging our glutes. So this could be done on the edge of a couch or a bench or whatever you've got. So basically what we're going to do is we want to pull our ribs and hips together at the top the whole time. And from there we're going to bring our hips through, really squeeze both glutes, driving our heels into the floor. We don't want to arch our lower back, we want to keep that pretty flat and just focus on the glutes. So ribs and hips locked together, glutes really hard, control back down, glutes really hard. So if we do 20 or so reps of this, if that's too easy, you can bring one leg up and we'll do the same thing but single leg. You do 10 to 15 each side. That is going to be a really good glute exercise to, again, tie in and activate create strength within that new range of motion, activate it neurologically, so that those stretches, they don't just stick around for a little bit, you start to integrate it into how you show up every day. Your glutes start to become a bit more active, and your hips just start to work better biomechanically. Now our last one for really getting those glutes working. So this is going to be a glute that's a lot more laterally on our side, called Glute Medius. How we're going to do this one is we're going to go against a wall. We can just have our hand against the wall, lift one leg up, and then basically we want to drop that hip to the side and then squeeze it through. Drop that hip to the side, squeeze it through. Nice controlled reps. Squeeze it through. So you want to make sure we're not moving through our midsection and our lumbar spine, our core. We want to make sure that's sort of locked in and it's all isolated to the hip. So you'll see my hips and ribs are stacked and they're tilting as one. They're acting as one. And you should start to feel a really good burn through that lateral part of your glute. So that is the last one. There you have a great routine to be able to stretch and create more mobility in your shoulders and your hips, and then activate that new range of motion, create strength there, create neural activation there, and really improve the functionality of your body and reverse a lot of the damage done by sitting too much and being in that forward posture too much. Enjoy.